Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Wednesday morning, December 2nd, 2020. I'm the man they call Meathead, and joining us this morning as every Wednesday morning and Friday mornings, it's Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Meathead. I feel like we haven't talked in a week.
I feel like it's been a while because, we didn't have our regular Friday morning conversations, so it's been about a minute.
Yes, it has, but nice talking to you in the month of December. It was last month when I talked to you last.
Yeah. I had a friend who just absolutely despised and, skin crawled when I'd say, hey, man, I'll see you next year. Or if I saw him in 2019, I'm going to see you next decade, buddy.
Yep. Oh, you got to love it. I mean, that's the fun thing to say once that last week of December starts rolling around,
Yeah, and you thought 2020 was going to be so cool with 2020 vision and all that other stuff. Boy, if we could go back and have 2020 vision on this year, yeah.
Oh my goodness. It seems like I don't know. It's been a strange year in the fact that it seems to have just crawled by at a snail's pace, but it seems to have gone by quick as well. It has just been a very, very strange year. And I think so much of what, at least to me, has made this year feel abnormal is you don't have those standard things that you use to bookmark the year.
Benchmarks.
Yeah, the things you would normally do in the springtime or the summertime or whatever, where you're able to say, oh, this is what I do for my July 4th, yada, yada, yada. It's just you haven't had any of those.
I always judge everything throughout the entire year was, did I have to wear pants or not?
Mm-hmm. Well, from what I heard before the call, it sounded like you're not going to have to wear pants much at all this next month.
It's going to be a no pants dance, my friend. Speaking of no pants dance, speaking of the no pants stance and how it's going to look, let's talk about our sponsor, Manscaped.com. They are making everybody silky smooth, and I don't think their Cyber Monday deal is still going on, but go over and check it out. Our promo code is PWR. It saves you 20%. I know they had Black 30 was one they were using, or there was another one. We'll have to check in on that, but let's just assume PWR saves you 20% at manscaped.com. Get yourself silky smooth, especially if you're sitting around the house, work from home, and you don't have any pants on. So you don't want, just all your Sierra Forest just hanging out there. Make sure you're looking silky smooth. And our friends at collarandelbowbrand.com, PWR360 is our code, and that gets 10% off as well. They've got even the brand new Fanny Pack Kid Party shirt out there. Did you see the shirt, Matthew?
I saw the shirt. I saw the mask. I mean, that's a heck of a combo right there.
Yep. It gives me the jitterbug. It gives me the jitterbug.
That's a Wham reference you did right there.
Wham! Like I said to Linda yesterday, it makes me want to say it just like Ryan Reynolds. Wham!
Yeah, nice looking shirt and mask. And I think I recall seeing there was like a shirt mask combo or something you could get.
Yep. Matter of fact, it's a combo breaker. Finish him. So, no, head on over to collarandelbowbrand.com. Use your promo code PWR360 and get yourself some new Fanny Pack Kid stuff as well. The Fanny Pack Kid going places, man. And, I get to say that I knew the kid way back when. I mean, he's not my son, but boy, am I proud of what he's doing. It's Cal Hero's awesome, man. We love everything that Cal's been doing. We could see just greatness coming out of him, and he's a good kid as well. So get out over there, use the promo code, get yourself some stuff. Matthew, tonight, in case you weren't aware, because you're in Denver, so I'm not sure if you're aware that winter's coming.
Winter came like in early September here.
Wow. Did it take you out for breakfast after? I mean, good grief, dude. You're paraphrasing there.
I don't get it. It's a season. Seasons do not cannot take people from meals. I'm a little confused.
Winter is coming in AEW. So moving on. Winter is coming AEW. It's a big night tonight. We have a AEW Heavyweight Championship match. The number one contender, the winner of the Elimination Gauntlet, or the Eliminator Gauntlet, the winner, the cleaner, Kenny Omega, who knows people from Charlotte, North Carolina, is going one-on-one with the AEW Heavyweight Champion, John, I'm going to be a baby daddy soon, Moxley. Your thoughts, and does the belt change hands tonight?
Now, taking it back a couple steps, Winner used to wrestle in TNA, didn't she?
Winter TNA, I believe
Yeah,
so. Wasn't Winter
remember,
Katie Burchill?
Katie Burchill. Yeah, that was her TNA moniker.
There we go. Okay.
Absolutely. Going back a little Sudden Impact reference.
Well, I mean, if you want to go back to the storyline in WWF at the time, Winter was coming because they were doing a thing with her and Paul Burchill.
That's right. There were going to be some some
brother,
pirate
sister
siblings that were very fond of each other, right?
Yeah, gross. All right, so back to AEW and back to my question. Does the title change hands tonight?
You know, I was listening to the last couple of days of shows, and it sounds like you seem to have an inclination that it is. And I don't necessarily foresee that tonight.
Not tonight, but maybe in February at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I just, you know, the wild card in all of this is the issue with Moxley and who's been attacking him. Right. And you got to think that's going to come into play. I think it does, but I think it comes into play and sets up the next world title feud. I don't see it necessarily costing Moxley the match. And because, you know, if he loses the title, and I don't know, WWE has gotten away from rematch clauses. I'm not sure what AEW's policy is on it, but you got to think that, especially as long of a reign as Moxley's had, if he was to lose the title, you know, that program is not over. So
yeah,
you are planting the seeds of starting a program with Moxley. I don't think that is to be Moxley's losing the title program. So I foresee Moxley retaining, but us getting a pretty clear indication of who was attacking him, and that being the next program for Moxley, potentially resulting in your next main event at the next pay-per-view, which is what, January? Is that correct?
February. End of February. Okay. Revolution, I believe.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with AEW. You've said this actually specifically over the last few weeks. Their mid-card is kind of light, but their top of the card is actually kind of heavy. There are multiple people that could just instantly turn into number one contenders.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got Chris Jericho, we've got MJF, we've got, you know, Omega. Kingston could be a number one contender again. You could make, not Wardlow, Brian Cage could end up being a number one contender instantly. They have so many guys that could literally be believable and be going for the heavyweight strap. We know that Cody technically never gets a heavyweight championship title match again. That could always change too. I don't see it happening soon. That's why he's around the TNT title, but I think it's about time for Moxley. I'm okay with Moxley winning or just retaining it again and keeping it for a little bit longer, but it's time. It's time for Moxley. It's time for a change. You know, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. So, to quote the late, great Owen Hart, I do see the cleaner, Kenny Omega, and the girls with the brooms walking away with the AEW championship.
Wow. You see that happening tonight, huh?
Tonight.
Oh, wow. Well, this might actually give you a chance to catch me, because if you will remember, I won the Survivor Series. I outpicked you in the Survivor Series. So if you happen to predict this right, and I am wrong, which seems like a very, very wide stretch of the imagination, I think, you know, since we've kind of been keeping track of,
aren't you the same guy that said that Riddle would take over the Undertaker's powers?
He's been getting a lot more screen time these last couple of weeks.
Dude, he's the guy that wants to work with MVP and make bro nuts.
I know, isn't that awesome? I'm really starting to enjoy Riddle over the last couple of weeks. I gotta say, that's been one of my highlights of Raw the last 2 weeks, is the screen time that Riddle's had. You know, I need to figure out my equivalent of Damian Nelson has this endorsement thing he does. Maybe I need to start marking people. You know, Matthew's marked or marked by Matthew or something. I think I'm going to do that to Riddle.
I've seen pictures that you sent me of things that have been marked by Matthew, and I don't think people want that either.
Oh, you know what? I haven't tweeted in a while. I probably should do that.
Tweeted by Matthew. There you go. At the real M. Thomas. Okay, well, and by the way, I say this over and over, but this is my kid's favorite spot. Dude, the slow-mo replay of Riddle kicking off his sandals, my kids make me slow-mo that. So they go, watch. There go his shoes, and it looks like he's farting fireworks.
Well, it would really be a high entertainment value if you tried to replicate that in the comfort of your own home. Get you a pair of sandals that are kind of loose and see what you can do.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be having pyro shootout. That's literally a verbatim what my 7-year-old said. She said, "Daddy, it looks like he's farting fireworks." Those are my
Talk
kids.
about an entrance, huh?
Yeah, those are my kids. It's my fault. 20 years ago, I told my sister's kids, my nephews, my godson, I said, I want you to remember one thing. Oh, you know what time it is. What I did was I went inside his ear. Now, I don't want you to think of it the way that you think of it, you perverts. I told him clearly, I said, Anthony, whose initials are ARG. So I said, ARG, I want you to remember one thing only. No matter how old you get, no matter how old I get, no matter where you are, farts are funny. I said that to him, literally. Farts are funny. It's coming back on me tenfold because, you know, he was a boy, and I figured it was my sister's kid. I could go ahead and just get away from that. Oh, no. They still do it. And now, unfortunately, my girls do it. Man.
What's the saying? Something about an apple in a tree?
Yeah, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Yep. That's what I did. Now, granted, she's not going to do it like I did. I had a bullhorn when I did it. And it echoed throughout the neighborhood. But again, you know, I'm a huge child. Let's talk. Go ahead.
You forgot to conclude the segment. You forgot to do the thing when you conclude the segment.
I am about to pull out of you now. That was uncomfortable.
No, we needed to make sure that the segment was concluded prior to moving.
I completed, right? Huh. So I was. Let's move on. All right, so let's talk about the matches real quick. From I am trying really hard. Winter's coming. It's derived from the Game of Thrones, obviously on HBO. Their phrase, and they can do it too because again, TNT is a Warner Media, conglomerate. Here's what we have them out so far: Moxley and Omega. There is also the AEW Diamond Ring. It's a huge battle royal, and I think the ring that MJF carries around was one from this match.
Yeah, that's where that ring originated from, right?
Does he have the AEW Dynamite Diamond Ring? Yeah, it's a battle royal.
Does he have to give it back? Is it just on loan to him for a year? Is that how it works?
Where he's got to award it to the next person?
I think DDP has to come and take it off of his finger. And then I don't know if there's like a sanitation thing that you have to do once you.
Once he's gonna pull his finger. I mean, seriously, I can't help myself.
And then, wouldn't that be great? You could have an angle where, MJF hasn't taken it off in a year, so his fingers actually grown because he's a younger fellow. His fingers grown. Yeah, and DDP can't get the ring off, or maybe DDP's trying to pry it off, and he and MJF get stuck together, and that's the end.
While he's trying to pry it off, he accidentally slips the diamond cutter on him.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Let's announce who's in the match so far. We've got Adam Reynolds, Adam Page, Hangman Adam Page, Alex Reynolds, John Silver, Sammy Guevara, Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Matt Sydal, Scorpio Sky, Sean Spears, Orange Cassidy, Kip Sabian, Miro, Wardlow, and MJF. Maybe MJF wins it and keeps the ring.
I can see that. I can also see, because the dynamic between him and Sammy is so interesting. How great would it be
Sammy
to have
cost him the match,
or have two? Maybe it's not the same ring. Maybe it's just an additional ring to have two rings in the inner circle.
Hey, that's got a ring to it. Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes will take on Team Taz of Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs alongside Brian Cage and Taz. So your thoughts on the tag team match? Again, Allin and Rhodes taking on Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, who is now a member of Team Taz.
Yeah, we've been seeing more and more screen time for Taz's bunch over the last couple of weeks, and I think it would serve them better to come out ahead here.
Okay. Jericho goes one-on-one with Frankie Kazarian.
Wow, it seems fairly easy to pick. My goodness, it would do much more for Kazarian here than it would Jericho. I still see Jericho winning. I mean,
Jericho's
you've got
winning.
to, you've got to, make him continually look strong. Not that it would hurt him if he lost here, but I don't see that happening here.
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, is going to be in a match as well, advertised. That's the card so far. It could change, but not a bad card. The talk on the interwebs is that this one may have an overrun because of the big title match. So, folks, if you're DVRing it, Matthew, that goes for you too. Make sure you extend your recording time out to not miss a thing.
So what you're saying is go to EP mode, huh?
Yes, go to SLP or EP or EXP. EP was the one that was 6 hours.
Yeah, SLP was 2, LP was 4, and EP was 6 because EP was extended play.
SLP and the LP backwards. I think LP was 2. SLP was 4.
Was it? Because standard. I guess LP doesn't stand for long play because then the S would have to stand for something before long play. So you might be right.
So yeah, make sure you set it to EP so it keeps recording and set the timer off. So hey, let's talk real quick about people that are going to these shows. Have you been on their website to look at some of the conditions that you have to have for going? It's a know before you go how your event day journey will be impacted, pun intended.
No, I have not. I toyed around with the notion of going a few weeks ago when I was in Orlando, but that was actually an off week for AEW. I don't believe they were actually going live that week. So I would not have been able to make it regardless.
So this would have covered you, out-of-state country fans. With laws, hold on. I'm going to do big boy voice now. Are you ready? This is a new segment here, folks. With laws, orders, and guidelines related to the COVID-19 pandemic ever-changing in various jurisdictions, all guests attending events at Daly's Place are responsible for monitoring those laws, orders, and guidelines and ensuring their own compliance. To the extent that any laws, orders, or guidelines would restrict or limit the ability of guests to come to Daly's Place from other parts of the country or the world, including imposing any quarantine restrictions, the individual guest will be responsible for ensuring that they have complied with such restrictions and limitations. Thank you.
I believe the technical term for that is a CYA policy, correct?
CYA, yeah, that's the technical term, otherwise known in the hood as cover your ass.
Precisely. So, yeah.
By the way, I am taking voiceover bookings now at PWRshow.com. PWR.
Can you? Can I hire you to leave a message on my answering machine? It'll be my answering machine greeting.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep.
I tell you what, that's a wonderful service you're providing.
So, but some of the things that kind of caught me off guard was the bag policy. You can have a 1 gallon clear plastic freezer bag, a Ziploc bag or similar, a non-clear clutch bag no larger than 4.5 and by 6.5, maybe carried into the venue along with one of the clear bag options. Which means that if you plan on bringing food, you can bring a sandwich, bring a PB&J. As long as it's in a clear bag, they have to be able to see into the jelly.
All right. So it's a freezer bag, so you can just bring something fresh out of your freezer. So if you got some frozen peas, you can just bring them with you to AEW. Yeah. I mean, that's what I always like to snack on when I'm at an event like that. Just some frozen peas or carrots or...
Yeah, so food is permitted inside Daly's Place during events, provided that it is unwrapped and placed inside a 1 gallon clear plastic bag no larger than 11 by 11. All food items are subject to visual inspection. Thank God they're not taste inspection. What kind of peanut butter is that? What's that again? Where's that from? What part of the country? Daly's Place reserves the right to deny any food item from entry into the venue. No outside liquids or beverages will be permitted inside Daly's Place, and any medically necessary exceptions must be pre-approved by bold events. So if you need to bring your insulin pen or your EpiPen or something like that, you got to get clearance on that. But sure. I just found it kind of odd. It's over on allelitewrestling.com that if you want to bring a PB&J over to the wrestling show, come on down.
I mean, this is probably one of the only set of circumstances where you can ever plan on bringing your own food to such an event. That's something that is probably not going to happen much more once we start getting any type of normality, because bypassing concessions is not something you're typically allowed to do inside of an event.
The other one that really caught me too, which is pretty cool, is that at events like this where you're usually packed into a parking lot, you're worried about a ding door.
Mm-hmm.
Not happening. They will not park anybody next to anybody. There's a space between each parking spot.
Oh, wow.
No tailgating, but the parking lot is also spaced out.
No ding door probably makes the whole parking process a little bit easier. The people parking cars, you've got, a little more margin for error when they're waving you in.
Yep. So now people can park like arseholes.
Did you hear on AEW, I believe it was last week, I mean, the ticket packages are selling. It's something like $45 for 3 events or something. Their season pass that they're doing. I mean,
That's fantastic. I love it. If I lived in Jacksonville, I'd go check out the wrestling matches.
Yeah, I mean, it comes about $12 a pop, or let's see, $15. Yeah, $15, I guess, is the way that math works.
Yeah.
I mean, it would almost be cost efficient for you to move to Jacksonville temporarily for such a great deal,
All right, so that's AEW for tonight. Big night. Let's take a look at what NXT has got going. Not much for tonight. I mean, they're setting up their big pay-per-view for Sunday, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk TakeOver for December 6th, and here's the matches. Undisputed Era taking on the McAfee team of McAfee, Dunn, Lorcan, and Danny Burch in a War Games match. Now, the team of McAfee, Dunn, Lorcan, and Burch have the advantage as the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne, defeated a member of the Undisputed Era for the first time ever to get the advantage on that match. Who do you got coming out on this?
I think Team McAfee. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that might be your biggest star in NXT right now.
Pat McAfee?
Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is he's a diamond, and I think he comes out ahead. I mean, honestly, what does Undisputed Era? They've had their time. They've done their thing. This is the era of Pat McAfee right now.
Okay. All right. That is a specialty match along with this next one, Team Shotzi versus Team Candice in War Games. Now, Team Shotzi has only 3 announced members so far, with the turn from the turn of Toni Storm, who was siding with Ember Moon. She's now with Candice LeRae. So it's Candice LeRae, Toni Storm. Why do I not have my list in front of me? I think it's Raquel Gonzalez. I'm so sorry. And Dakota Kai are going to round out the Candice LeRae team. And right now is Shotzi, Ember Moon, and my girl, Rhea Ripley. Who do you think is the 4th member? And if you say Undertaker one more time, I will kick you right off the air.
I have no idea. 4th member here. Where is what's Charlotte's status?
Charlotte, when we talked about it months back, Charlotte was going to be making it back around the Rumble. So she's got to be close.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the only person that comes to mind. I don't know. Is there anybody else that
I think honestly Charlotte would overshadow this whole pay-per-view?
Yeah, no, that's a very good point there, and I don't necessarily believe that. That was just the only person I could think of.
Okay, well, a 4th female is going to be added at some point, or they wrestle, one person down. There is a triple threat match tonight, at War Games on Sunday. And it's going to be the North American champion, Leon Ruff, and his Velcro belt against the former champions, Damian Priest and Johnny Gargano. This, as far as I can tell, there's no other stipulations to this match, so this will not be a specialty match. Who comes out on top, the champion or one of the formers?
This is such a strange title picture here. I'm going with Ruff retaining it just because anybody else that goes on is going to be a real big hot potato of the belt here. And if they take it off of Ruff, and I have absolutely no idea why he would have had this short run. So right. I'm looking for him to retain here, although this whole title picture leaves me a little bit puzzled.
Speaking of puzzling, poor Cameron Grimes, he still can't figure out Dexter Lumis, but they're going to have a strap match and a specialty match on NXT's War Games TakeOver this Sunday.
I want to see Grimes come out ahead here. I think there really is something there, and as interesting of a character as Loomis is, I feel like the character of Cameron Grimes in this current incarnation can go a bit higher than the Loomis character here. So
Loomis has a fantastic mustache right now, which I'm still sporting. I haven't shaved mine off yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mustache that's second to none. I don't know that there's a better mustache in the professional wrestling industry. I mean, you'd probably have to go all the way back to Cody Rhodes or Bobby Roode when he had his for a little bit. But yeah, that's one heck of a mustache. But Grimes has not really, he hasn't gotten to his point in the feud where he's looked strong. I mean, he's worried about the zombie referees and whatnot. So you got to give him some. You got to give him something here. You got to have the story where he is able to confront his fear and comes out ahead.
Okay. That's what we have announced so far for TakeOver. More may come tonight on NXT, but we got a nice weekend full of wrestling action. Again, we're back from the holidays, so we spent, holy smokes, we spent a ton of time talking today, Matthew. We've already gone into overtime here. Again, folks, make sure you're checking us out over at PWR360.com. We're on the Twitter machine, PWR360. Matthew at The Real M. Thomas. I'm at WCW Meathead. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to all the videos. We're back on the YouTube now, too. So YouTube is there. We just heard from our boy from Wine Country USA, Ruben. He's been listening in on the program. Hello, Ruben. We're looking for all the old cronies to come on back. We did mention him last week, didn't we? When we were talking about Curry Man. Maybe Curryhead's still out there. I wonder.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. If Kenny Omega, if he's looking for people that hail from North Carolina, I think we know a person or two.
We do know a person or two, and that was my setup for you. So you knocked it out of the park. First pitch fastball right off the batter's eye. Good job. All right. So for Matthew Thomas on the Manly Call Meathead, hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.